Let's get fancy with fabrication, and for this skill, which is made available with the Eco Lifestyle Expansion Pack, you're going to want to start by collecting bits and pieces. No, bits and pieces are not words I randomly made up. They are official yet rather odd Sims terms, and they're required for the fabrication skill. Bits and pieces are a kind of currency that comes with the Eco Lifestyle Expansion Pack, and you can figure out how many you have by hovering over your money stack or a recycler. But you might be thinking, how does one get these? The easiest yet most expensive way is to buy objects in buy mode and then recycle them using the home recycler. As a general rule, if an object is more expensive, then recycling it will provide you with more bits and pieces. That's right, get ready to burn through your cash money. And also note that you can recycle objects that are in both your Sim's personal inventory and the household inventory. Now, if you go down this path, then seriously consider upgrading your recycler. The Mush Filter upgrade will increase the amount of bits you get from recycling by about 50%, while installing the Harden Grinder Gears upgrade will increase the amount of pieces you get by about 50%. Both very well worth it if you have the handiness level. But what if you're a Povo guy or gal or sim and don't have much spare cash? In this case, you can find dumpsters around Evergreen Harbour, and for the small price of your dignity, you can dive right inside the dumpsters for meals or deals, which can provide you with a small amount of bits and pieces, and often a few random objects that you can then recycle for more. Additionally, you can rummage in your trash at home for a small amount of bits and pieces, and if you have the Reduce and Recycle Lot Challenge active, which I highly recommend, then as well as rummaging, you can use the Sort Out Recyclables and Sort Out Compostables actions on bins to get a decent amount of bits and pieces as well. These actions will see an object appear in your inventory, which you can then click on and recycle or compost for bits and pieces. If you're really strapped for cash, then making an 8-serving dish and dragging one serving into the bin at a time before sorting it for recyclables or compostables can be a great way to get bits and pieces for a very, very small cost. So now that you're swimming in bits and pieces, not literally because that would be weird, let's talk about making objects with the fabrication skill. While bits and pieces are used to make objects, dyes are used to color them. 7 of the 9 dye types can be bought directly from the candle making table or fabricator, but there are 2 more. The Houndstooth dye and the Grim dye can be obtained from dumpster diving, and you can also obtain Grim dye by recycling death flowers. Now, the ideal mood that increases the rate you train the fabrication skill is being focused, and you can train the fabrication skill using 2 objects, being the candle making table and the Store No More home fabricator. For candles, in addition to dye, you'll also need wax, which you can buy directly from the candle making table. If you have the Seasons expansion pack, then you can also gain wax by raising bees with the Birdie's Bees box object, which will allow you to harvest beeswax from time to time. Candles are a lower cost option in terms of using up bits and pieces when training the skill, and the main drawcard here is that at level 9 fabrication, you can make various candles that give off emotional auras. Note that in addition to bits, pieces, wax, and dye, these will also require a specific flower that relates to the emotional aura that the candles give off. For example, a rose for the Rose Romance candle, which gives off a flirty aura. When it comes to making fabricated objects on the fabricator, there's so much you can make. From tables to bookshelves, chairs, lounges, beds, dresses, lights, and even wall decor, with more objects understandably becoming available at higher levels. Now, in addition to unlocking objects from raising your fabrication level, using the Enthuse About Fabrication social interaction with other Sims can unlock the ability to create a few additional objects, including a desk, couch, and wall light. Also, when your sim enters into the Green Technician branch at level 4 of the Civil Designer career, they'll also gain the ability to draft an eco-invention concept blueprint using the drafting tablet. Once drafted, you can use the mailbox to submit these for approval. 24 hours after it's submitted, you'll know how it went. And if successful, you'll get a work performance boost, a few hundred simoleons, and it even has the chance to unlock the ability to fabricate some awesome new objects. Note that a higher logic skill will increase the quality of the blueprints you draft, which will in turn improve the chance of them being successful in unlocking additional objects to fabricate or even just getting that simoleon and work bonus. Now, what are these cool new objects? Well, these include the hydroponic planter, which will automatically water your plants for you. Yes, we're loving that hydrated life. Another object is the smog vacuum, which can suck up and expel pollution. Note that you can dump pollution into your trash safely, or you can choose to throw it back out into the atmosphere if you want to pollute the worlds of Sims that you don't like. The smog vacuum can also be used to repair burnt furniture for the cost of a few bits and pieces, which is very handy, especially as you'll be finding lots of this furniture while dumpster diving. And finally, there's the flowers and flora rug, which looks like real grass and flowers, but for some reason is not doing it for me and is kind of ugly, but a good try. If your sim reaches level 6 in the civil designer career in the green technician branch, then they'll also unlock a couple of recipes that can be made with the fabrication skill too. Yes, a little strange to be making food out of the same bits and pieces that we make furniture from, but we're just gonna go with it. Now, a very few quick tips before we finish up. Firstly, you can use the fabricator to make eco upgrade parts, and these can allow for some specialized upgrades on various household items. These can do things like lower your utility bills or even make it so that objects function off of refillable fuel. Be wary of making them run off refillable fuel though, because while great for storytelling, this can be a little bit painful for gameplay. Next is to consider your sim's traits. For example, Recycle Disciple will make your sim love rummaging for parts and recycling objects, so much so that they crave it in the same way I crave dark chocolate, which is excessively. The Maker trait also makes sims get a happy moodlet when they make an object, whereas they'll become sad if they haven't made an object for a long time. Next is that if you're crafting objects to then sell for money, then aim to craft undyed objects. Dyes cost money, but they don't add any value to the objects you create. They purely change the aesthetic. Finally, it's handy to have your sims live in Evergreen Harbor so that your sims will have access to dumpsters to dive into and find objects to recycle right on their doorstep without going through pesky loading screens. And we've reached the end. That's a guide to the fabrication skill in The Sims 4. If you enjoyed or found this helpful, then please subscribe and leave a like. I would really appreciate it, and have an amazing day. See you later.